Have you ever met someone who just seemed to naturally glow?
Uh,
Or like walked into a room and instantly felt your mood just drag all the way down?
oh, absolutely. I mean, we usually just brush that off as a vibe, right? Or, a gut feeling.
Right, exactly. But what if the reason you instantly dislike someone the moment they walk into a room
Mm.
has absolutely nothing to do with their body language or, their tone of voice?
Another facial expression, yeah.
Yeah,
We treat it like an abstract emotion instead of a concrete thing.
totally. But what if instead you are reacting to the literal structural shape of their soul?
It's wild to think about. It completely upends our standard understanding of human intuition.
It really does. And what if I told you that, structurally speaking, a pure-hearted saint and a terrifying devil are actually built the exact same way?
I mean, that's just a huge paradigm shift right there. We process so much massive information before a single word is ever spoken.
Yeah. And today, we're going to treat those vibes as reality. So, welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here for this one.
We are exploring a really fascinating, highly analytical, philosophical text today. It's by Feng, and it's originally dated January 18th, 2007.
Yeah, titled The Spiritual Light and Color of Life.
Exactly. And our mission today is to dig into this text's central premise, which is that every single thing in the universe possesses a hidden spiritual light.
And more importantly, figuring out how our own internal architecture is constantly projecting this invisible aura out to everyone around us.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this, because claiming that, like, my coffee cup has feelings and psychic energy is a massive statement to just drop on the table.
It is a profound framework to wrestle with, for sure, because the text asks us to completely reconsider the boundaries of the material world.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about everything showing light and color,
Right.
but obviously the physical desk lamp sitting in front of me generates light in a very different way than, say, my dog.
Or the people sitting next to you on the subway.
Exactly. The text makes a really hard distinction between material light and non-material light, doesn't it?
It has to. I mean, otherwise the physics of this philosophy just fall apart entirely.
Yeah.
The foundational rule here relies on how the text defines the concept of life itself.
Okay, and how does it define it?
Well, it defines life as a non-material structure with spirituality. Every spiritual light and every spiritual color is the direct, unedited result of that specific structure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the text acknowledges that both life beings and non-life beings have spiritual lights. But there is a massive difference in the mechanics of how they actually operate.
So, to clarify this mechanism, if everything has a spiritual light, what makes the invisible light of a living human fundamentally different from the invisible light of, like, a rock sitting in my garden?
Right, because they are both occupying the material world.
Exactly.
The difference really comes down to the origin of the energy. According to the text, life beings like you, me, or your dog possess initiative.
The mission. Okay.
Yeah, their spiritual light is generated from within. It is actively produced and driven by their non-material structure, whereas non-life beings, like that rock in your garden, they completely lack that initiative.
So what are they doing then?
They only reflect light from spiritual sources.
Wait, I need to pause on that.
Right.
If the light we're talking about is non-material, how does a very material rock reflect it? Is it bouncing my spiritual light back at me?
That's a great question. Or is it reflecting the energy of the earth itself?
Yeah. How does that work?
It's basically acting as an energetic echo chamber. The text suggests that inanimate objects don't generate their own non-material aura, but they absorb and bounce back the spiritual resonance of the universe.
Yeah.
Or, the resonance of the beings interacting with them. So a mountain range might feel deeply majestic or calming, not because the rocks themselves are actively meditating,
Right.
but because they are perfectly reflecting the massive, passive spiritual energy of the earth itself, or even capturing the awe of every person who has ever looked at it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
We are generating, the rock is echoing.
Precisely.
But if life possesses this internal initiative, and we are generating our own light based on our unique non-material structures, that naturally implies we aren't all structured the exact same way.
Oh, radically different. If your internal structure is different from mine, the spiritual light we are outputting is going to look completely different.
So the text is saying life is not a flat landscape at all.
Not even a little bit. It has levels. And it categorizes people into a highly specific hierarchy based entirely on their structural complexity.
Right, it divides people into 5 tiers, doesn't it?
Yeah. Ignorant persons, the laity, mortals, sages, and celestials.
And This is where the text completely threw me for a loop.
Oh, the celestials part.
Yes, because when you hear a hierarchy that ends in celestials, your brain immediately goes to angels, pure goodness, moral perfection, you know.
Totally natural assumption.
And the text does say the celestial category includes saints, lofty people, and pure people. But then, right alongside the saints, it includes goblins and devils.
Yeah, it really does.
How on earth do goblins and devils get grouped into the exact same top-tier celestial category as a saint?
What's fascinating here is that to understand this text, we have to aggressively detach our modern moralistic definitions of good and bad from the idea of structure.
Okay, so it's not about being a good person.
No, the text emphasizes that this classification is not based on external characteristics, nor is it based on moral goodness in any traditional sense.
Then what is it based on?
It is based entirely on intention, quality, and the sheer raw strength of their vitality.
But let me push back on that a little bit.
Sure.
Because later in the text, it establishes that good structures give off an auspicious heavenly light, and bad ones give off a dark, hellish light.
Right?
So if a devil is a highly structured celestial, why does it emit an oppressive dark light? Shouldn't a massive amount of structure equal a massive bright light?
That is the core paradox of the text, actually. And the resolution lies in the difference between vitality and nature.
Vitality in nature. Okay, break that down.
So the vitality, the structural power, is immense. A devil is not lazy, right? A devil is incredibly focused, ordered, and intentional.
Oh, I see.
The sheer force of that intention puts them in the celestial category. But the nature of that intention is consuming rather than creating.
Wow.
To help clarify this, the text brings in a really helpful analogy regarding gemstones.
Right, I remember this. Comparing the soul to diamonds, rubies, sapphires, opals, tourmalines. We all know these are technically all just stones.
Yes, they all belong to the mineral kingdom, just as saints and devils both belong to the highest tier of structured life.
But their internal architecture dictates wildly different properties.
Exactly. A diamond's carbon atoms are arranged in a highly ordered, rigid lattice, which makes it incredibly hard and clear.
Yeah.
But an opal has a totally different structure of silica spheres, giving it that shifting rainbow quality. The stone's value isn't just about it being a stone.
Right, it's about the unique physics of its internal geometry.
Yes. So a saint and a devil are both highly structured, but their internal geometry is aiming at completely different objectives.
So the internal structure dictates the quality of the stone, which means the non-material light emitted by a highly structured saint must visually manifest in an incredibly different way than the light of a highly structured goblin.
Exactly. Even if they are in the same broad category of having strong vitality, they manifest differently.
Okay.
And the text is surprisingly detailed about exactly what these spiritual colors look like. But before we map out the specific colors, we have to establish a crucial rule from the author regarding the light itself.
Right, we have to separate the light's strength from its color.
Yes, because the text argues that the stronger a vitality is, the richer its color will be and the brighter its radiance becomes.
But it draws a very hard boundary between what the strength of the aura means and what the actual hue of the aura means.
Totally. The strength of the spiritual light, whether it is weak and flickering or intense and blinding, only indicates if a life being is waxing or waning.
So it's just about energy levels.
Yeah, it just shows the volume of their current energy reserves. But the color indicates their true quality. The color is the actual structural manifestation of their specific non-material identity.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the text lays out a very specific color palette for the soul, essentially mapping out this hierarchy of structures.
Let's walk through it.
Yeah, starting at the bottom with ordinary people, the ignorant persons, the laity, the mortals.
The everyday folks.
Right. The text says their spiritual light is relatively weak, and the color is flat. It literally describes it as a white, faint light, like a mass of vapor.
Which paints a brilliant picture of a consciousness that hasn't fully coalesced yet. It's formless.
A mass of vapor.
Yeah, think about what a mass of vapor is. It's water that hasn't condensed into a solid shape. It's a massive vapor because the non-material structure isn't highly ordered, it's just scattered.
And then you move up to the sages. Their light is still relatively weak, but the text notes their colors are faint and frequently changing.
All right.
So they aren't just flat white fog anymore, but they haven't locked into a stable, permanent form. They are fluctuating.
That transition phase is so vital. The text states that with the perfection of structure and the purification of quality, the spiritual lights gradually lock into a fixed color.
Okay.
This is where we reach that celestial level of intense vitality we were debating earlier. Their spiritual lights are no longer weak or shifting. They are massive, bright, and intensely focused.
And this is where the specific colors lock in, seemingly based on their ultimate intention.
Yes.
So saints, lofty people, and pure people show colors of red, yellow, and purple. Then you have the goblins, they show blue and green.
And devils show black.
Right. And finally, Buddhas, which includes super-celestial beings, show a wide spectrum of all 7 colors.
The author doesn't hand us a physics equation for why a goblin is green and a saint is purple. But if we look at the philosophical implications, it makes a lot of sense.
How so?
Well, warm colors, reds, yellows, purples, have historically been associated with warmth, dawn, royalty, and creation.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And the blue and green of the goblins tie more to twilight, coldness, and the dense depths of the earth.
And the devil's showing black.
Black is the literal absorption of all light. A highly structured consciousness that is entirely self-serving operates like an emotional black hole.
Wow, an emotional black hole.
Yeah. It has immense gravity, but it doesn't emit, it consumes.
It's a fascinating way to visualize intention. But this brings up a massive practical hurdle for me, and likely for anyone listening right now.
What's that?
We just spent all this time mapping out this incredibly vivid spectrum of reds, yellows, purples, blues, greens, blacks, 7-color rainbows.
Right.
But the text explicitly states that because these spiritual lights belong to the non-material world, they are utterly invisible to the human eye.
Yes, it says they are only visible to beings with Buddha eyes.
Right. And since I do not have Buddha eyes, and I can't literally see a green goblin aura or a flat white vapor aura around the people walking down my street, how do we actually interact with this in our real everyday lives?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it actually explains so much about human interaction. That is the crucial pivot in the text.
Okay.
We cannot see these colors with our physical retinas, but we sense them constantly.
Oh, we sense them.
The text argues that we are slamming into these non-material structures every single time we socialize.
And the text categorizes these invisible collisions into 2 main sensory experiences, right?
Right.
Auspicious light and dark light.
Exactly. Auspicious light indicates the life quality of heaven, whereas dark light, or that black hole absence of light, indicates the life quality of hell.
And the author provides a very practical diagnostic tool for the reader here. It isn't mystical at all.
No, it's entirely based on your own internal, emotional, and physiological reaction to another person's hidden structure.
So apply this to your own life right now. Think about the last time you read an op-ed written by someone, or just walked into a conference room and sat across from a stranger.
Yeah, we've all been there.
The text says if you suddenly feel fresh, open, and clear, bright and beautiful, happy, warm, cheerful, inspired, and safe, you aren't just in a good mood.
No, you are actively sensing their auspicious light. Your structure is feeling the high-quality, ordered geometry of their non-material life.
But the inverse is just as powerful and often much more noticeable, honestly.
Oh, definitely. If you are around someone or reading their words and you suddenly feel pain, oppression, heaviness, or discouragement.
Yeah, if you feel unsettled, negative, depressed, or worried for no logical reason, the text argues you are actively sensing their dark light.
You are feeling the weight of their internal architecture pressing against yours.
It provides so much validation for those gut feelings we all experience. It reframes a random mood swing as a direct sensory reaction to a structural reality.
Totally.
Which leads me to the ultimate question for the learner.
Let's hear it.
If my invisible spiritual light is constantly projecting outward and actively affecting everyone around me, making them feel either safe and warm or heavy and oppressed, how do I fix my own light?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. How do I actively make my spiritual aura more auspicious and colorful?
The text actually provides a very clear mechanism for this. To make your spiritual light more auspicious, you must perfect the non-material structure of your life.
Perfected.
Yeah, the more perfect it is, the more auspicious it will be. And people will naturally sense your degree of perfection without you having to say a single word.
But perfecting the structure sounds like a riddle. What does that actually mean in practice?
It all comes down to the organization of your consciousness. The text explicitly states, if our consciousness is clear and ordered, then colorful light will show. If our consciousness is disordered, then colorful light will not show.
So order is the absolute prerequisite for color and light.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the difference between a standard 60-watt light bulb and a high-powered laser pointer.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, if you have a disordered consciousness, you are the standard light bulb. The photons are chaotic, bouncing in every possible direction, constantly colliding and canceling each other out.
Right, which creates a diffuse, weak glow that doesn't reach very far. That is the flat, white vapor the text describes.
Exactly. But the laser is an ordered consciousness. It takes that exact same amount of energy, but the photons are perfectly aligned, moving in exact sync.
Wow, yeah.
And because of that intense internal order, it creates a beam powerful enough to cut across a room, and it has a fiercely concentrated specific color.
That is a phenomenal way to visualize it. The author actually uses a very similar concept from the material world, pointing to a piece of ordinary iron and a magnet.
Oh, right. Because they're made of the exact same metallic element.
Exactly. But the magnet has polarity. It has an invisible, undeniable power. The ordinary iron is just dead weight.
Because of the arrangement of their internal molecules.
Precisely. The magnet's molecules are highly orderly, all facing the exact same direction, compounding their energy. The ordinary iron's molecules are chaotic, facing every which way, effectively neutralizing their own power.
Which means if your thoughts, your intentions, and your daily energies are scattered, conflicted, and anxious like the ordinary iron, your spiritual light is going to be that faint, flat, white fog.
You are literally canceling your own power out.
But if you align your consciousness, if you define your intention and create internal order, you suddenly generate this immense, colorful polarity that people can literally feel when they stand near you.
Yes. To drive this point home, the text expands this idea of internal structure using some highly relatable environmental analogies.
Like the shopping analogy.
Yeah. It compares our non-material structures to places we physically visit. The text points out that when we walk down a street, some shops are clean, tidy, bright, and lively.
They inherently welcome us inside.
Right. The structure of the shop is inviting. But other shops are disorganized, cluttered, and gloomy, and they actually make us feel a sense of oppression just standing near the doorway.
And our non-material structures are doing the exact same thing.
Yep. When you have done the hard work to order your consciousness, your internal shop is clean and bright. When people interact with you, they feel that auspicious light. They feel welcomed.
But if your consciousness is a chaotic mess, your internal shop is disorganized and gloomy, and people feel a subtle oppression when they are forced to deal with you.
The text takes it even further out of the city and into nature, actually.
Oh, right. The hills and rivers.
Yeah, it states that some people's life structures are like green hills with clear water. They are bright, colorful, and teeming with vitality.
While other people's structures are more like barren hills with muddy rivers filled with desolation.
The landscape of your mind dictates the color of your spiritual light.
So getting our own internal landscape in order is clearly step one. If we want to emit an auspicious, colorful light, we have to align our consciousness like a laser, clean up our internal shop, and cultivate those green hills.
Right.
But the text suggests something even more profound happens when we do this. As we order our consciousness, we don't just change the energy we project outward.
We actually unlock a greater ability to perceive the reality that is already around us.
Yes.
This raises an important question. How much of reality are we completely blind to simply because our spiritual perception is currently too weak?
A lot, probably.
The text points out that for most of us, our consciousness lacks the strength to fully enter into the non-material world. We are living on the surface of reality, missing the vast majority of what is actually happening.
And the author uses two really powerful lingering metaphors to illustrate exactly how much we are missing. The first is the act of looking up at the sky.
Right. When we look up to heaven, the text says we only see the blue sky and the white clouds. We think that is all there is.
But we cannot see the concealed, infinitely complex natural scenery that is layered invisibly above us.
We are just seeing the wrapping paper.
Exactly. And the second metaphor is looking out across the Gobi Desert.
I love this one.
When you or I gaze across a vast desert, most of us just see sand. It's flat, it's uniform, it's completely material. We process it and move on.
But the text says that if you look closer, if you actually sustain your attention, some people can see the grand phenomenon of heat currents physically flowing across the Earth's surface.
And those who look even closer can perceive mirages.
It's crucial to note that the desert didn't change. The desert is exactly the same for the person who sees only sand and the person who sees the flowing heat currents.
The difference is entirely within the observer.
The text explicitly states, the longer you concentrate on something, the more you will understand it and find things that are invisible to others.
So it isn't just about trying harder to see.
No, it's about concentration fundamentally shifting your baseline of reality.
Concentration is the mechanism. The more we focus, the more we order our own consciousness, the more those invisible layers of reality, the heat currents, the spiritual lights, the true non-material structures of the people we pass on the street begin to reveal themselves.
Yes.
We stop just seeing the flat sand of human interaction, and we start seeing the complex energy structures driving it.
And that is the ultimate, incredibly optimistic hope expressed in the text.
It really is.
It concludes with the author's desire that everyone eventually glows with auspicious and colorful spiritual lights, and, importantly, that our perception evolves to the point where everyone will be able to truly see them.
So what does this all mean? We started this deep dive looking at a very common, very human experience, wondering why some people seem to glow with a welcoming energy, while others instantly drag our mood down into the floorboards.
Yeah.
And through Shuifeng's text, we've traced that invisible feeling back to a highly structural root. We've explored the idea that every single living thing possesses an initiative that generates a spiritual light based entirely on its internal architecture.
We've seen how a scattered, disordered consciousness creates a flat, weak vapor, while a highly ordered, perfected consciousness acts like a powerful laser.
Projecting intensely fixed colors of auspicious light. And most importantly, we've learned that while we might not currently have the Buddha eyes to see these colors visually, we absolutely possess the spiritual perception to feel them as safety, warmth, or oppression in our everyday interactions.
It imparts a massive amount of personal responsibility when you realize that your internal emotional state is essentially a public utility.
Wow. Yeah.
You are broadcasting it whether you want to or not. But I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over, building on a specific, almost terrifyingly modern detail hidden in the text.
Okay. What is it?
The source mentions that we can sense someone's spiritual light, their auspicious or dark energy, not just by sitting across from them in a room, but by reading an article they wrote.
Wow.
Their non-material structure leaves a permanent emotional imprint on the words they put out into the world.
That is heavy.
It is. So in our hyper-connected, text-based modern world, consider this. If your internal structure literally infects the text you produce, what kind of digital spiritual footprint are you leaving behind every single day?
Oh, that's a brilliant point.
When a colleague opens an email from you, or a friend reads your text message, or a stranger scrolls past your comment on social media, what are they sensing?
Yeah.
Are your words projecting a faint, chaotic, disorganized white vapor? Are they transmitting a heavy, oppressive dark light that drags the reader down?
Or have you ordered your consciousness enough that even your digital footprint acts as a magnet?
Exactly, projecting a bright, auspicious light that makes the person on the other side of the screen feel safe, inspired, and warm.
That is a brilliant and challenging question to carry with you this week. We want to thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden architecture and colors of consciousness.
It's been great.
Keep your internal laser focused, cultivate your green hills, and until next time, keep your Buddha eyes open in the world.